so. I think so. It's a pretty hard thing that a lot of technical people, once they get into the management side, have to deal with. So I said, fine, I'll try it. I'd be interested in trying it out. After a while, I just realized, oh my God, this is like what I love doing. That job made me realize how much I love working for. Early on, as I was growing up, I really wanted to either come to US or to Europe for my college education. So when the unrest in our country started in 1978, I saw that as a good opportunity to leave because our school was already shut down and my sister was already here in Austin. So I convinced my parents that this is the best time for me to go. For those people that were before me, previous generations, when they got their degrees from other countries, and they also got pretty good in a different language, that their opportunities in Iran were much better. So the goal was never to just stay back here forever. It's one thing led to another, and you just realize where is the place that fits you, right? Where you're more comfortable, where you really can call it home, and this was the case for me. I mean, this is home. This is my place now. This is my country. Getting education was a big push in our house. Both my parents, neither one of them had education, but my mom being the CEO of the house, the biggest requirement of her from us was education, was getting educated and being able to take care of ourselves. So also being strong in math and science, I just naturally thought, okay, well, engineering is my option. I should go to engineering school. I remembered my mom mentioned once that, oh, I wish one of my kids was an electrical engineer. I don't know for whatever reasons she said that, but then I decided maybe I go try electrical engineering. And one of the minors was computer. Those days, my interest in computer and what was happening with computers, how it was so different and this unknown that I really wanted to get into more and figure it out is what interested me in, electrical and computer engineering is what I like to go study. I should have become actually a hardware designer going into electrical and computer engineering. But then in my senior year, I figured that I really preferred software than hardware. So then I continued taking more classes in software engineering and started my first job as a software engineer. During dot-com boom, as I joined a startup company here in Austin, I got really familiar with the database backends and data structures and how does that support the program side. The head of data team encouraged me to go join their team. And she thought that I would be really good at doing the data and database related work. So I said, fine, I'll try it. I'd be interested in trying it out. After a while, I just realized, oh my God, this is what I love doing. And that's how I got into the data and database side of the things. That job made me realize how much I loved working for small startups where I could wear many different hats. I could learn so many things in a short period of time. I knew everybody at the company. I could just walk into the CEO's office and start talking to them. And you're moving faster, right? There's not so much blockers. When I get something on my mind, the next thing is okay, how fast can I get this done? As we started growing, there was this opportunity to start hiring more data and database people. And then I kind of volunteered myself as becoming a team lead or managing that team. And luckily, I was given the opportunity to do so. And that was kind of a start of my building an organization as we grew the company, where when I was leaving in 2016, I had 120 people in my org that took care of all of the database-related work for the whole company and all of our brands. We were a global company. All the data integrations that needed to happen, all the internal systems as well, to support HR, finance, sales, customer support, and because all of it is about data and data flowing between different systems. And then also, as a result, doing all of the reporting and data science aspect of it too. I think that's where the opportunities exist more also when you start so early with a company and with a startup. Because as that company grows, and as they expand, if you're there very early on and you also know a lot about the company and you have all that passion and love for building out the solutions at that company, then you have the opportunity to almost like pick and choose the role that you would like to do as the company grows. Also, the company having such a culture that they would want to grow from within, right? They would want to promote from within before they go out and bring, other people in. And luckily, that's the environment I was in, and it was just an amazing journey. I always say, previous to ZenBusiness, my whole career, HomeAway was the most amazing part of my journey, and one place that I was at the longest for 11 years. That was the longest part too, because I learned so much. It's a pretty hard thing that a lot of technical people, once they get into the management side, have to deal with. And it takes them a while. Sometimes it takes a while to do that. But it naturally forces you to do so as your responsibilities grow, right? Because you get to a point where you're spending most of your time either, having meetings with your team or being in meetings with other teams that you just no longer have the time to be coding. So that is helpful, right? That helps you then detach yourself from that part and let your team take over. If you're on the engineering side or on the technical side, even as a manager, it's always good to stay on top of technology, right? To still be involved on the tech, because that is what makes you to be able to manage those pieces better, because you have a pretty good understanding of what does it take, how do you go about it? Are you able to mentor and help the people that are in your organization? And the only way you can do that is that you're kind of still staying involved to some degree. So after Expedia's acquisition of HomeAway in 2016, I was having a lot of thoughts, right? I had already started thinking about, okay, what is in my future? I felt like I'd already worked enough for 2 or 3 people in a normal average lifetime, right? This is, if I want to change anything, if I want to do anything different, then this is the time to really think about it, because the company was going to go through changes. And as I thought about it more and more, I decided that I didn't want to be part of a 30,000 people organization. Then one day, Ross and I were having coffee. Now, to let you know that Ross and I originally met at Excite.com in 1999. So we've known each other for a long time. And also, Ross was the person who convinced me to join the team at HomeAway, because he was a founding CTO. And he had already started looking into the opportunities that could be there for supporting entrepreneurs and small businesses. Now, the reason I joined this compared to the other ones, I've always been very passionate about entrepreneurs and small businesses. My father was an entrepreneur, my husband was an entrepreneur, one of my brothers was an entrepreneur. They all had their own businesses, and I love how small businesses make things so unique and different and, personalized. Building something for entrepreneurs that are just starting their businesses and enable them and help them out so that they can go focus on what they were really good at and kind of take on the type of work that they don't necessarily want to deal with or want to do. At the beginning, we actually did more of a CIO title for me. And I was really digging into a lot of data, seeing opportunities. What do we want to do? Where? Because the first year, it was really all about just learning, right? Testing stuff and doing more research. We were trying to set our strategy of what exactly was it that we wanted to be. So as we figured that out and as we got our first round of funding, then Ross and I were having conversations of okay, how do we want to now move forward with the company and the roles, and who will end up managing what piece of the puzzle. And that is when I took on some other pieces of the company, and then my title changed to the COO. And the reason I came here, because I knew the opportunities existed here in this country. And whether I was a girl or a boy or whoever, that I was not being blocked or stopped in so many aspects of like what I wanted to accomplish. I'm not saying that there was no blockers but it was very different, right? So I saw that as a big opportunity that, okay, I can say what I want. I am free to do what I want. And how do I want to take advantage of this opportunity? One thing, at least with like Persian women, some others like myself is we are, I don't know if it's being brave, but maybe fearless and being open to taking risks and taking on challenges and being very open and honest in my conversations. I always say that I cannot say one thing that means something else. I say it exactly, as I see it, because that's the only way I would understand it when somebody else is having a conversation with me. Of course, like working hard, but then the working hard and putting my love and passion in everything I did, a lot of it was all related to the goals I had, right? And the mentality that if I'm taking on any job, any role, that I should really do it to the best way that I know of and I can, and also keep on learning and keep on improving myself. I never looked at a job as just a job. Whether I was like working at a restaurant, like during college, or I was a global VP of technology, it was always the same thing to me. Is like, how much am I putting that respect and value into my role and what I'm responsible for, and how can I do it the best way? Also, I think that the motivation would also come from people around you, right? When they see the value in what you're doing, when they are providing the feedback, when they're also helping you out to get the next level. Wherever I am, whatever I was able to accomplish, it was always because of all the people that I cross paths with. Nobody knows everything, right? You can be the best CEO or COO or best software engineer. You still don't know everything, in that field. But as long as you're willing to learn is what makes the difference. To me, that is more important than if I am interviewing people and if I come across two people, one with maybe 10 years of experience and one with only 4, but I see a difference in that passion and love and motivation and how much they're excited about something is what makes me make a decision.